Today is episode number 140 of Park to Prem here with Guernsey, and today we're heading to one of the biggest, most notable stadiums in world football. Not the Camp Nou, the Guernsey Stadium for the second game today. We're taking on Tottenham in the Premier League. There is also the small matter of Barcelona away. They're going quite strongly in the Champions League. We're going well too. One of these teams is about to slip up and potentially put their latter aspirations for the Champions League in, well, I want to say jeopardy, but with the new format, the Champions League, there's no jeopardy. I just want to do an away day in sunny Spain. We're back here for Park to Prem. Can we remain unbeaten in Europe? We're going to find out together. Let's get into things. I've kind of already done the intro spiely bit to this video, but yes, we're back everyone. We are at the end, or tail end I should say, of November, the 27th of November. It's the final week of the penultimate month of the year. We remain top of the Premier League since you were last here. We've played a handful of games. Of course, last episode we took on Sparta Prague, we took on Arsenal. Since then, 5 games played, 4 wins. Those wins came against Tottenham in the Carabao Cup, where we won 6-2. Alanis scored 5. He doesn't like Tottenham, apparently. I guess he grew up an Arsenal fan. It's the only explanation I can come up with for Alanis, who, I mean, when we look at him, he just continues to get better and better, doesn't he? He's absolutely ridiculous. After that 6-2 win, we also beat Peterborough 3-0. Of course, Peterborough have been a bit of a yo-yo team. They came up with us when we first were promoted to the Premier League, and since then, they've kind of just been up and down. At the moment, they're in mid-table, so actually, a 3-0 result against them was pretty good, all things considering. What was slightly less good was the result against Benfica. Yeah, declined to do the Benfica away day, and Benfica had the last laugh, because in this game here, having had a goal ruled out that could have put us 3-1 ahead, they went ahead and scored it in the 89th minute. Were we unlucky? Maybe a little bit. We dominated possession, but to be honest, they created a lot. I did also rotate the team for this game. Did come back to bite me in the buttocks. Since then, 2 games played in the Premier League. The first was against Fulham, a 3-1 win, Cadman and Alanis on the score sheet, and a 2-1 win against Everton was nice. In fact, in this game, it was a late goal by Diallo that got us the win. A minute after, they'd got an 87th minute equaliser. Late drama against Everton, of course, Eric, playing against his former club, he did get the last laugh. So with that recent run of form, here is the Premier League table and how things are looking, and despite a very, very good run of form, Man City are still only 2 points behind us. There is a 7-point cushion to Newcastle in third. Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United struggling. Like I already mentioned today, we are also going to be doing the game against Tottenham. Tottenham, the most yo-yo-y of yo-yo teams ever. They're very yo-y. Media prediction 6th. They're down in 7th. They're going to want to beat us, but at home, we have to back ourselves to keep our unbeaten season going. As I've already mentioned, today we are heading to sunny Spain. We went to Barcelona just 2 episodes ago. This time we're heading there to the bigger team in Barcelona. No disrespect, Espanyol fans. Yeah, we're heading to the Camp Nou. Xavi's their manager, by the way. That's a thing in this universe. I say that like it's a weird thing. He's been here for the entire save game. I assumed he'd left at some point, but no, he's nearly been here 2 decades. Some were surprised they've not sacked him, given the fact they've not won the Liga in the last, well, almost a decade now. But who am I to judge? Knowing that, me, and what I've just said there, they're now going to beat us, aren't they? Anyway, we're heading to the Camp Nou. Almost 100,000 seats there in Football Manager. I don't think it's got quite that many in real life. Regardless, I've never been there in real life, so why not do it as an away day? It's the next best thing after all. At this point, I feel like we're quite familiar with Barcelona and indeed Spain. There's been a lot of away days to Spain. I suppose it's the Park to Primera in me coming through. In terms of the Camp Nou, I actually don't know where it is in the city. Presumably, there's going to be a big square bit of grass, and that's where the stadium will be. Is this the Camp Nou? No. Maybe I'll have more luck on satellite view. In my head, the Camp Nou is quite central. I feel like I've seen it around all the red kind of ceilinged houses. I realise Barcelona is full of these red ceilinged houses, so this really doesn't narrow it down. Is this it? No, I don't know where we are. I'm going to have to cheat. I can't believe this. I said we have to cheat. I've just Googled it. I was literally a few streets the wrong way. Here is the Camp Nou in all its glory, and first things first, there is not a mall next door. I mean, for a stadium this big, it's not the biggest of car parks, is it? Lots of clay tennis courts. In fact, how many tennis courts are there? There's many. I'm not going to count them all, although there's at least 29. That's too many, isn't it? Why would you need that many? It's probably host major tennis competitions there, but it still feels excessive to me. There's also the Palau Blaugrana. What is this building? It's basketball. I have cheated there. Don't judge me. Basketball going on there. And here is the further parking situation. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I hope they've got underground car parking because this does not feel sufficient. I know we're meant to be doing the Camp Nou. I want to look at the basketball. I hope that's acceptable as a starting point today. Here is the Barcelona basketball team's stadium. Do you call it a stadium in basketball? I don't know. Arena sounds good, doesn't it? Here it is. I mean, it's not the grandest of arenas, but it is a first for an away day. We've gone to watch a game of basketball. Suppose really we should focus on the actual stadium itself, which actually for some reason I didn't think held 99,000 seats, but apparently it does hold 99,000 seats. Why do they not just find 700 seats from somewhere and get it up to a nice round 100,000? Like, there's definitely room for a few deck chairs. Like, you could put, some just deck chairs or some benches here behind the goal. That'd get you up to 100,000. There are dots everywhere, which is both daunting and exciting. First things first, let's have a look at it from the outside where, I mean, there's parking, there's a stadium. It kind of looks cool, but to me it also kind of looks like an airport. Is anyone getting airport energy? I say that like it's not got Qatar Airways plastered on it. Maybe that's why it's got airport energy. I've clicked inside the stadium. I've entered an area of catering with some funky lighting. What is going on here? What event is this? This can't be related to the football. You can't even see the pitch. Every time I go on a dot in the stadium, there's canapes. I mean, they're trying to bribe me over with food, but in reality, it's just making me hungry. I will say, to be fair, very, very pretty stadium, isn't it? This is from 2016. I don't think it's had too many renovations in recent years, although, as I've already kind of demonstrated, I apparently know very little about the Camp Nou. Here it is. I mean, I can imagine that if you're in the nosebleed, you're not going to see a lot of the game, but in terms of stadiums, it has that Colosseum-y feel. There's no running track, bonus points for that. Still think you could fit a few hundred seats there to get it up to a nice amount, but in terms of stadiums, it's just very picturesque, isn't it? It's a pretty stadium. It's a bit basic, but maybe basic's okay. It's not got a nice roof for me to judge, but you've got the scoreboard there, which is more sponsors than scoreboard, I've just noticed. If I am going to nitpick, there are sponsors everywhere, aren't there, at this stadium? We've had Qatar Airways, we've had Spotify just plastered everywhere. There's sponsors here as well. It's a little excessive. Then again, that is modern football after all, isn't it? But for better or worse? Mostly worse. I've clicked through the stadium a little bit. I'll be honest, there's not as much as I thought there was going to be behind the scenes other than canapes, which are making me hungry. Here is one final look at the stadium. It looks pretty. Big fan of the seating arrangement, to be fair. It's different to every other stadium that we've looked at. Doesn't have a roof on three sides. You couldn't get away with this in England. I assume Barcelona doesn't have very much rain. Either that or you're going to need to pack a poncho for the winter months, which feels suboptimal. I've gone to Google Earth to make the stadium seem more flashy. Here is the Camp Nou. I mean, again, not sure how I feel about the one ceiling, but you can probably get away with it in Spain. It's not the prettiest stadium from the outside, but it's picturesque. It's based in the city. Lack of greenery around it. Insufficient car parking facilities. No solar panels. And too many tennis courts. But here's the thing, it's a lovely stadium, doesn't have a shopping centre like Espanyol. It doesn't have roofs on three sides. It's got too many sponsors. It feels like an airport. And for that reason, it might be big, but that doesn't always make it better. And with that in mind, the Spotify Camp Nou, I'm going to give you 6.5 out of 10. I think that's fair. There's some people who take the rating seriously who aren't going to be happy with that. I'm happy with it. That's all that matters. So going into this game against Barcelona, let's talk team news. In terms of the lineup, pretty much full strength, which is great to be able to say. We've had a couple of issues with injuries throughout the start of this season. Of course, Hunyens is still out, but in his place, Diallo has done a pretty good job when he's been fit, as you can perhaps see from his form in the last 20 games. Few gaps in the bar chart here. Those are games that he has missed. And at 31 years old, I feel like we do have to manage his minutes a little bit, but he's very good when he's on the pitch, and for that reason, he is starting this game here. Elsewhere, though, you can just see a sea of green links between all of our players. Jamfi probably should be back in over Dahar. Let's swap those around. Jamfi still coming back from that long-term injury, maybe lacking a little bit of match sharpness. In fact, you can see here, he's not featured in our last 6 or 7 games. So, as much as I want to maybe err on the side of caution, I do feel like we have to bring him in. That's not to say Dahar has done a bad job in Jampi's absence, but bear the devil, bear the player that I can trust in these kind of situations. Up top, we are going with Alanis, Cadman and Diallo. We've already talked about Diallo either side. Ohashi in behind has been absolutely sensational in the Champions League. 3 goals, 2 assists in only 3 appearances. Hopefully he's going to add to that today. Okay, here we are. This is one of those big occasions, I feel like, in a Champions League. Playing Barcelona. We've not played Barcelona before. It feels monumental. When you go into one of the biggest stadiums in all of Europe, you got to be up for the occasion. Hopefully the players are going to be up for it. I do feel like this is going to be a test against Xavi's men. Yes, they're underperforming in La Liga, but at the end of the day, they are a team that are pushing for that top 8 spot in the Champions League. One of those spots of which we already occupy, and away from home, backs up against the wall a little bit. A good start would be amazing. Jampi driving in the cross. It comes to Archer, the right back, who runs all on his lonesome and very nearly found the back of the net. Did force a save out the goalkeeper though, so we have got a resulting corner to try and make something from. Diallo going to float it towards the back post. Koppo heads it into a dangerous area. Ohashi, floating header that Durek has had to tip over. In terms of opening 10 minutes away against Barcelona, I think this has been fine so far. We're not having as much of the ball as I would like, but we've had plenty of opportunities early on. Certainly not struggling to get the ball forward. And, well, Barcelona are going to look to play the ball out from the back here. Could we force a turnover high up the pitch? With our system, we are well suited to press high and press hard. And with that pressing, we are, in fact, going to earn the ball back here. Going all the way back to Rios, Grasser, Koppo. Building out from the back, as is the Guernsey way. Cadman, nice little run deep. Immediately springs back into action in the wide areas. We're now going to look to build up the ball down this right-hand side. Diallo dropping deep, switching the ball over to Cadman, who got this move going. Can he hold it up? He goes down in a heap. Diarra, the man who's won the ball back there, deemed fairly by the referee, it has to be said. And now Barcelona may be looking to launch an offensive of their own. It's Perez on this near side. The number 14 to the byline. Well, you thought for a second he was going to go to the byline. Instead, he picks out Pedri. Of course, Kovacevic, our former man, also playing for Barcelona here, as the ball is whipped in at Manny Wilford. Manny Wilford, he was a man of the moment last episode, continues to be it here. I just noticed Kovacevic. If you're wondering, how's Kovacevic doing? He's quite good, isn't he? Do I regret selling him to them for 30 million? I mean, when you look at his performances, not really. When I look at his overall ability, I do feel like he's got a little bit better. Hopefully he's not going to come back to haunt us here. Half an hour in this game gone by. A set piece for us. Diallo, plenty of assists from these. He is a very, very good corner taker. On this occasion, of course, curse of the commentator. Doesn't beat the first man, but still not away from danger. Diallo into the box with a point to prove, and that effort blazed just over. I mean, so far, so good in this half. There's 7 minutes left plus any added time. Whilst we're not having a lot of possession, we have had significantly more chances than Barcelona. We've had the ball forward. In fact, you can see here, 7 corners. Almost disappointing we've not been able to score one of them. But at the end of the day, at the break, it is going to be 0-0. And, well, we had this last episode, didn't we? End of last week, 0-0 after the first half against Sparta Prague. 0-0 at full time against Arsenal. In that previous game against Sparta Prague, though, we were able to muster up 3 goals in the second half, and we're going to hope for a similarly contrasting performance here, where maybe the floodgates can open a little bit. There is a kickoff highlight, however, and, well, regrettably for us, it's Barcelona in possession. Diarra switching the ball wide to Benitez on the opposite side. He's going to cut inside. Archer clears it against, I think, his own man. It's hit the crossbar. It's not gone in. Everything's fine, I'm calm. Has to be said, in this game, Alanis Ohashi been largely disappointing. This is the kind of game that I think is screaming out for the double change. And with that, we are going to bring in Paulie Parkin up top, and you know the deal by now. You know the man who's coming on at centre attack and mid. Gustavo Lemos, the man who's made for this kind of occasion. Hopefully he's going to have the desired impact coming in, slotting in as a shadow striker, in behind Parkin, fresh legs through the spine. Defensively, we've not looked bad, although Rios on a 6.3. Less than ideal, but given the fact our defence is yet to be breached here, not going to make any further changes just yet. Ball won in a good area, although Lemos caught out by Kovacevic, the former teammate, and for a moment, as he shot from the edge of the box, my heart sank, my mind started to think of the worst case scenario. I was envisaging it going in. Manny Wilford, though, to the rescue. Only 23 minutes left here. It is still 0-0 at the Camp Nou. Koppo with the ball for us at the back, laying it across to Rios, now with Eric. He turns, he finds some space, lays it to Archer, who looks to put the ball in, but to be honest, that is a disappointing cross into the box, straight down the goalkeeper's throat. That said, the ball is broken away in bizarre circumstances to Lemos. We're going to a VAR check here. It would be, I think, the second time in as many episodes where we've seen the goalkeeper smash a ball at one of our attackers and it falls our way. Was he onside? The answer is no. Paulie Parkin doesn't know the offside rule. Barcelona trying to play games out from the back. You can see their ball hits Lemos on the head. Unfortunately, despite a good finish, he was offside. However, I say all of that, the free kick of the offside is going to be the start of this next highlight. Maybe a warning sign for Barcelona here. Of course, if they go up the other end and score, we are going to wonder what could have been. 22 minutes left still, and, well, ball surrendered to us in the centre of the pitch. It was Grasser reading it nicely, and now we look to make some moves from the back. Coppo with it, wide Adu Jamfi. Now with Grasser, he baby legs that pass short. A hospital pass that doesn't even find the left attack in mid. That said, as is the Guernsey way, we love to win the ball back in the midfield. We've got some proper ball winners, and now we need some goal scorers to emerge, because I want a goal here. I want to win this game here, and we could have an opportunity. Archer, seen a few disappointing crosses from him. If it comes his way again, I want to see a better ball. And speaking of great balls, that ball to Diallo is sensational. And through sheer luck and questionable defensive animations, it's fallen to Paulie Parkin. He's come on off the bench. He's got the goal for us. Who was it who started the move here? It was Eric. This ball here was superb to Diallo. Really nice run. I'm not sure what happens here. Diallo shoots. It kind of gets deflected back. Could the number 4 defender have done better? Maybe. But Paul Parkin, he was denied by the offside flag once. Not going to be denied twice. 15 minutes left here. Rios is still on a 6.5. I feel like this is one of those situations where the game is warning me. The game is telling me, make a change or else Rios is going to make a howler. And with that in mind, I'm going to bring in Craig Sweeney to play centre-back. A player who continues to get better and better. 22 years old, 31 caps for England. Imagine having that kind of quality to bring on off the bench. Grasser looking pretty run down as well. I'm going to bring in Dehar to play as the defensive midfielder. This is a role that he can play. He's natural in this position. You can see he's well suited to it as well. And yeah, just going to bring him in, fresh legs to just hopefully cancel out a potential Barcelona offensive in the remaining, 15 minutes of action here. That said, of course, I'd love a second goal. We very nearly got it there through Archer whilst I was making subs. A second goal, it would ease the nerves somewhat. 5 minutes left. This has been a game that, despite the scoreline, we have been in control of for large spells. It doesn't really show on the scoreline, but a win would be a win. A clean sheet would be a clean sheet. And with 4 minutes left of added time, I'm content to watch the clock trickle upwards towards that 94-minute mark. And the good news for us is absolutely going to do that. I believe for the third live commentary in a row, we keep a clean sheet. And when you look at the performance, yes, it's only 1-0. But it was a really good team performance at the end of the day. Always nice to see your subs come off. Paul Parkin getting the goal on off the bench is great to see. Not exactly had the most impactful start to his career at the club, but he continues to get better and better. As a reminder, he is only 21 years old and he turned 21 less than 2 months ago. He is absolutely superb, and whilst, yeah, in the league, he's maybe struggling a little bit. Make no mistake, he's popping up with important goals for us when we need them. We've seen that from him there. Now, last season I said we were going to do a game against Tottenham, and then I didn't do it. So I'm going to make things up to the Tottenham faithful. We are coming back for this game against Spurs. It's in 4 days' time. Going to rest up the players. Might be the last game we do before Christmas. Hopefully we can come away with 3 points. Before we get into the game against Tottenham, I want to talk about Leeds United. Remember when I was bigging up Leeds last episode? Yeah, they're down in 10th. They've just played at the weekend, and they lost 7-0 against Chelsea. They were third in the league like 6 league games ago. It really has been a capitulation by them. As for ourselves today, of course, we're taking on Tottenham. The other game that we're going to keep an eye on here, that in fact, I'm not at the time of my game yet, so we'll hit continue and find out together. Man City versus Manchester United. I would love Manchester United to do us a little bit of a favour, because at the moment there is a constant pressure on us whenever Man City play. Also, FA Cup, Charlton. It's not very sexy, is it? So anyway, I'm not at the game because I'm a professional video recorder, and just as I hoped for, Man City have battered Manchester United 5-0. They really are going to be our main rival this year, and I'm not looking forward to it. You know what? Instead of worrying about Man City, let's worry about ourselves. We're at home for this game. We should be backing ourselves to do well in this game. In terms of starting 11, couple of changes that might come as a surprise. Sweeney starting at box-to-box midfielder. Paul Parkin starting as well at striker. Both Alanis and Eric have been, complaining they need rests. We've been playing them a lot. I mean, they've played 16 and 15 games each. They've featured quite heavily. And rather than risk them, I do feel like with the likes of Sweeney and Parkin in the team, we can afford a bit of rotation without it costing us massively. These are 2 very well-established players in our team and the England national team setup. Worst case scenario, we bring on Alanis and Eric to save the day. At least that's what I'm telling myself in my head. I'm certainly not going to take for granted the situation we find ourselves in, where we have just so much talent in our team that we can just rotate things against a team like Tottenham, who, you know, are in 6th or 7th place in the league, kind of challenging those fringy European spots. They're a good team. They won the league a couple of years ago. They're going to be tricky for us to beat here, but we have to back ourselves to beat them, I think, in this one. Going into this new season with the new tactical system, I was sat wondering, was there going to have to be a load of tinkering, a load of changing? Of course, we've experimented with centre defensive mid roles, but actually moving one of the centre mids to play box-to-box midfielder. It did feel bold as a change, but as you've seen in the game today against Barcelona, and I guess against Arsenal and against Sparta Prague last episode, the reality is that actually defensively, despite only having a handful of players on support and defend duties, with the quality of players that we've got, we can just make this system work. I feel like that has been a big strength to our side this season. Hopefully it's going to be on display here as well, with some goal scoring. And, well, the goal scoring, we're going to have some of. Cadman with a goal, Grasser with an assist. Things you love to see. I'm not entirely sure if this took a massive deflection, but of course Grasser, our defensive midfielder, I say that in quotations because he gets far up the pitch, plays it, and I actually think by the keeper's dive, that shot deflected into the bottom corner. Not that we're going to complain, we're a goal up. 10 minutes left of this half, having got that goal, we've not done a great deal, although when you look at Tottenham, if we've not done a great deal, they've done diddly squat. 38% of possession, 0 shots, 0 on target, 10 fouls. They're good at fouling over at Tottenham, and we're going to make it in at half-time. I was going to say a goal up and without a goal against us. There might be one last chance here as Rios heads it against the crossbar. It's cleared away. Could we get it back into a date? No, the referee, he's blown for half-time. I feel like he's blown for half-time there out of mercy for Tottenham. How is this game only 1-0? I say how is it only 1-0? We actually not created a ton ourselves, but I suppose you don't have to worry about how much you create after you score. The opposition aren't even going to have a shot on goal. So far, so good. Would love that insurance policy. Maybe, well, we could have got it there. Ohashi forward, Koppo won the header. Rios with the second header, unfortunately just over the crossbar. We have got another corner here, though, immediately. We're having a fair few set-piece chances. Clearly, Tottenham struggling to contain us, and on this occasion, Koppo is going to head over. Koppo's in a booking. Archer's not having a great game and is on a booking at right-back. So, you know what, Eric, you've had your break. Now you're coming on at right-back for us. Imagine getting man of the match against Barcelona at centre-mid, then starting on the bench for the next game and getting subbed on at right-back. I'd be upset, but Eric's a professional. I trust him to do his job. Just like Koppo kind of did his job there. I'm not sure what the defending was in this highlight that's just been shown. We might have some more defending to do as well. And we've not done it. It's 1-1. Remember when I was really happy? You know, Tottenham no shots? Yeah, that's gone out the window, hasn't it? 8 minutes into this half, they score a set piece of their own. It's whipped in. Visser completely unmarked. Jumps on his own. Heads it. And unlike Koppo, he heads it below the crossbar. We have got a set piece here. Diallo floating it back post. Rios is under it but doesn't win it. Tottenham are going to clear it away, but they've got no one forward here. Everyone back defending. And with that, we're going to now look to rebuild from the back. Jamfi, the left back, trying to skip past his man. Can he beat him? He doesn't need to. He's going to whip it in from deep. For a second, I thought Diallo was going to get his noggin on it. Unfortunately, it's been won. And now Tottenham looking to build the ball out from the back. But we're going to press high. We're going to press hard. Diallo wins it before surrendering possession immediately. But Tottenham, in looking to go long, are going to gift it back. Koppo to Cadman. And that would have been a ridiculous goal if that had gone in. Unfortunately for us, it was just the wrong side of the post. Fortunately for us, there's another highlight immediately, and it's Tottenham surrendering the ball in a really bad area. We're winning the ball in good, strong positions, but we need to create something with it, or no, we don't. We don't need to. Tottenham are going to create it for us. It's 2-1 here. Parkin's been given another gift. I do feel like in recent episodes, we've seen a lot of defensive howlers by teams against us. Now, is that down to our pressing? Is it due to the quality that our players have? Do we just scare the opposition? I'm not sure. Not going to complain. With an hour played, I am going to make a couple of changes, I think. Diallo not having the best of games. We're going to bring in Sula. Elsewhere, Ohashi has been a little absent again. Lemos, it's your time to shine. 20 minutes left in this game. Only 2-1. Still a little bit nervous, especially if we're going to give the ball away like that. Good news for us, though. Eric works hard to get the ball back. Want that 2-goal cushion. We didn't get it obviously against Barcelona. I'd love to get it here. Jamfi with the ball. Could we make it happen? It's floated in. Sula's there. Keeper spills it. Is that another gift for Parkin? If this is onside, Parkin's got some magical ability where players just make mistakes in front of him. If this is 3-1, I don't know what to say. I'll feel very, very fortunate. Unfortunately, I'm not very fortunate. It was offside. I mean, what was this? Jamfi put the ball in, and it's actually for the initial cross there that the offside's been given. It was Sula who headed it. The keeper spilt it horrifically. Unfortunately, it's not going to count. 10 minutes left here. We're 2-1 up. We've been comfortably ahead in this game, and yet there's just those little bits of nerves lingering away in the back of my mind that just make me feel a tad bit uncomfortable here. We've got, what, 2 minutes plus any added time. There's 5 minutes of it. There is going to be a highlight. It is going to be us deep in Tottenham territory. Can we get this goal that would just make me relax a tiny bit? Rios steps up well to win the ball, pulls the trigger from range. If that goes in, goal of the season contender, sadly, over the bar. I did honestly just want this game to end. It's not going to end. There's more to come. 5 minutes of added time. There's still 4 minutes left of it. We've got more action to watch. Sweeney, Grasser, Lemos, lovely build-up play. Sula threaded through the middle, and Sula has missed a sitter. He should have scored that. Gonna hope with 2 minutes left, it's not going to come back to bite us. Why is there another highlight? All these highlights, and it's only 2-1. It's been absolutely mad. Rios' header goes wide. There's 50 seconds left here. Put me out my misery, Football Manager. Why are they on the attack? Visser, he's already got 1 goal for them. He's going to bring it forward. Rios wins it well. Lemos, just lump it away, mate. Don't do anything silly. What are we doing? I'm not relaxed. I'm not having fun. I'm not enjoying myself. I feel like this is one of those kind of piss-take highlights. Pardon my French. It is. It's one of those piss-take highlights where nothing's going to happen. Football Manager just wants to test my mental fortitude. Well done, Football Manager. You've tested it. Blow the whistle, referee. We're going to win this game. We deserve to win this game. Tottenham, average at best, and whilst we've not quite perhaps done it in the emphatic fashion I'd love to see, what I do love to see is Rios time wasting away. The full-time whistle blows. We win this one 2-1. Tottenham did nothing in this game, and yet that game felt nowhere near as comfortable as it should have. That said, knowing that Man City had just won 5-0, it was an important game to win. Good for our goal difference as well, although Man City do now edge out our goal difference and only 2 points behind us as a reminder. With that game, we just passed the 33% mark of the season. We are top. It's not as comfortable as I'd like it to be. I feel like inevitably I've got to plan around the second game against Man City this season. Good news, or maybe bad news, it's not until February, so we're not going to worry about that just yet. In terms of upcoming Champions League games here, you can see we have 1 game left of the Champions League that's away from home. Unfortunately, it's in just a few days' time, so we're not going to do it in an episode. I'm sorry to Wolfsburg fans, although, to be fair, you do play at a stadium that's named after Edin Dzeko, and therefore doesn't exist in real life. So it would have been a challenging away day anyway. In terms of when we're going to be back, not entirely sure yet. We are still in the Carabao Cup where we have been drawn against that Leeds United team who I already talked about struggling. Realistically, it's probably going to be January time before we're back. Not doing the game against Arsenal, that's a promise, but we'll do some kind of game in here, maybe, possibly. You know what, you'll have to come back tomorrow to find out. If you have enjoyed today's episode, as always, please do drop a like on the video. As we approach the end of this series, we've only a couple seasons left, I feel like, really. Views on the series do naturally tend to decline. Fewer people watching means the video gets recommended less, gets pushed out a little less. So if you got to the end of the video, if you're still watching on the regular, on the daily, a like does help out the series massively. Besides that, have a lovely rest of your day. We will be back again tomorrow with more Park to Prem action. Until next time, it is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you all in a bit. I'm out.